Greetings from the Guam Hilton. My name is Tim Thurman. I'm the tennis pro at the Hilton. One thing that we really worry about as tennis pros is when people put their thumb up here on the backhand, okay? What are we talking about? A lot of times you'll see people, when they're hitting a backhand, they'll hit a backhand with their thumb kind of behind the racket as they're hitting it, okay? Now, why is this such a concern to us, okay? This thing here where you put the thumb up here is the leading cause of tennis elbow, okay? Almost everybody who hits the ball like this with their thumb up like this on the backhand has one of those things wrapped around their elbow and they have a case of tennis elbow. Okay, now what's going on here? What happens is when people put their thumb up here on the backhand, the elbow becomes the fulcrum instead of the wrist, okay? We want the wrist to be the joint that's doing all the work when we're hitting our backhand, okay? When people put their thumb up here, the elbow kind of becomes the place where they're bending their arm. Does that make sense? So what happens is that puts a lot of strain on here. Also, if you put the thumb up here, the muscles become tight here on the elbow and loose here on the wrist, okay? The wrist is built to be flexible and move like that, whereas the elbow isn't, so that's why you get tennis elbow. Now, when you ask people why they put their thumb up here on the backhand, the reason they say is it gives me a little bit more stability, kind of gives me a good backing, okay? But this actually isn't true. See, what happens is, let's say a ball's coming in here, and let's say it hits it right here on the bottom. It doesn't hit it in the center, okay? If it hits here in the center, there's no way you can keep the racket from turning in your hand if you have that thumb up there on the backhand, okay? If you tuck the thumb down here, you're able to hold it firm even if the ball was to hit here, okay? So putting that thumb up there on the backhand actually is less stability because the racket's going to turn in your hand if it hits off center, okay? So when you're hitting your backhand, make sure, please, for all of our sakes, for your sake and for mine, make sure you tuck that thumb down when you're hitting that backhand, okay? That'll keep you from having tennis elbow, and it'll actually provide a little bit more stability on the backhand, okay? So remember, the thumb up there on the backhand is the leading cause of tennis elbow, okay? So please, please, please do not do that, and tuck that thumb down on your backhand. Okay, thanks for tuning in.